Hey everyone, today let's have a look at Ellen Joe's weapon from the game Zenless Zone Zero. I made it fully functional, but for an easier build you could just make it without the mechanism. Let's get started right away. You can find the template in the description of this video. Splitting the build up into a few parts is recommended. So we have the legs, the blades, the rotation point and the weird bottom part. For more complex builds like this one, I always start by making a base of the weapon first. This means we are going to look at the most essential parts to construct the weapon and later we'll be adding the details to it. Let's start with the legs. I made these from 90mm and 60mm PVC pipe. To make storage and transport easier, these legs are made out of two parts which can be pressed together. To accomplish this, I attached the smaller tube inside the larger one with some screws. These screws will become invisible when we start detailing it. By adding some tape to the 60mm pipe, you can create more friction to press them together. Now onto the cylinder that is attached to the bottom leg. For this I used a 40mm EVA foam dowel and attached another layer of 10mm EVA foam around it, making the diameter a total of 60mm. You can attach it to the PVC pipe by just pressing and rotating it around. It should be able to cut itself into it. The next part is the weirdly shaped piece on the bottom. This has a lot of details, but for now we will ignore those. Just make the basic shape out of 4 layers of 10mm EVA foam. Up next are the most important pieces of this build, the blades. They are made out of 2 layers of 10mm high density EVA foam. I use high density foam here because this makes it easier to make the surface smooth and it will be less bendable. I also added a core to both of the blades because the pieces are pretty long and thin. This will help them stay straight. Now let's take a look at the rotation point. For this I just used a 32mm PVC pipe. To attach the ends to it, I filled it up with foam so I have more surface to attach it to. In order to rotate it smoothly, a ring needs to be added between the blades. I used 10mm EVA foam, but using a smoother material is generally better to create less friction. And last we have the spring. This spring won't be that functional, but it will look cool. I created this using some metal wire which I wrapped around a 32mm PVC pipe. Now put everything together and see if you like the general shape of it. When you are satisfied with it, you can start working on the detailing. I started by detailing the most important parts, so first up are the blades. Let's look at the top blade first. First sharpen the edges with a Dremel following the template. Add teeth from 1 or 2 layers of 10mm EVA foam. Using 2 layers is easier for dremeling, but I forgot I was going to do that, so I made it from 1 layer. And last, add circles from 5mm EVA foam. Now for the bottom blade. Just like the other blade, sharpen the edges first. Add a 10mm EVA foam piece to the bottom and a 5mm EVA foam piece to the top. Do this on both sides of the blade. Attach the spring to a piece of 5mm high density EVA foam, so you can secure it properly to the blade. Next up is the weird shape. Add a 5mm layer on both sides, but before attaching it, make holes into it. Now round off the bottom of the whole part. Using a 10mm dowel you can create the rings on the bottom. By cutting out a V-shape you can bend and glue them in a 90-degree angle. Add a small cylinder to the bottom. I made this from a 20mm EVA foam dowel. The 60mm cylinder we made earlier can also be attached to this shape. But before gluing it you can also add some more details to it. I cut V-shapes out of it to create a cool effect. After gluing the cylinder we can add these parts. I made them from 5mm EVA foam, with a layer of 2mm EVA foam on top of it. Last we need to add the layer where the spring is going to be hitting into. I used 5mm high density EVA foam for this, so it doesn't get destroyed by the spring. Let's move on to the legs. Wrap a 5mm foam layer around it, Dremel holes for the screws but not all the way through. Add another 5mm layer foam at the end following the template. Alternatively, you could also use 40mm foam dowels for this. Add a 30mm foam dowel for the round parts in the middle. You can cut a hole into it by using the PVC pipe. Make the clamp from 10mm EVA foam using 2 layers for the bottom and 1 for the top. Make the bottom of it a bit hollow so it's easier to glue onto the leg. Now let's look at this piece. This is a whole project on its own. I used 10mm high density EVA foam for the construction parts. The clamp itself is made from 2 layers of 10mm EVA foam. The other details are made from 5mm EVA foam. And last there is the cords and attachments. I used 5mm and 10mm foam dowels for this. You could also do this by bending some metal wire instead. So let's move on to the parts I struggle with the most. The handles. Well, actually not the handles, but the cover protecting your hand. At first I tried to make this from plexiglass, and to make it fancy I wanted to add a magnet to it. Sadly the magnet wasn't strong enough and the attachment to the leg was not great either. So I looked at the weapon in game again and was like, it's more like a wire, so let's start over. Using the same wire as I used for the spring, I made a new version. Just wrapping the wire around the leg and creating sort of handles. After that I put a layer of 5mm EVA foam to create a thicker handle. Now let's make the cover, which has a bit of a trickier shape than the rest of this build. You will need to make it a little bit bigger than the template in order to make it fit properly. And that's all there is to it. You can add some more details by using 2mm EVA foam or using heat to press circles into the foam. But you could also just paint it on later. I will be finishing this later as I want to build something else first. I hope this tutorial was useful, and if it was, please like the video or leave a comment to support us. We also made a Patreon account for people that would like to support us even more. Early access template will be available here as well, if you want to start building at the same time as I do and don't need my tutorial. See you in the next one.